The purpose of this video is to guide you through the process of making a European deer mount, just like the one you're looking at now. Alright, the first step in the process of doing a European deer mount is to remove the head, and you have to remove the hide, which I didn't know I was making a video, so I already did that. Otherwise I would have videoed that process. But the hide is off. It's a fairly easy thing to do. You cut around the horns and you just cut the hide off. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove the lower jaw, and I'll actually video myself doing that now. So we just removed the lower jaw from this little buck. Now we're going to remove the eyeballs and any other tissue that we can get to. You want to remove as much tissue as you can, or it's going to take longer through whatever process you use to further this. So we just got done chopping the eyeballs out and reducing all the flesh we could off this thing. What we're going to do now is soak it in some water, because we're going to get the brains out next. That's the next step. And that's not pretty, so buckle your seatbelt. So the way we blow the brains out is I have a piece of stainless steel right here stuck in the ground, as you can see, with a compressed air piece going through it to the head back here, going in the back of the skull. You're going to want the piece of stainless steel. So we just blew the brains out of this buck. I soaked it one more time because it kind of went everywhere, but the next step is you have to get the rest of the flesh off using some kind of technique. We're going to use dermestid beetles because we have them. What does that mean? We're going to stick it into a habitat full of these beetles, and they're going to eat all the flesh off. Most people don't have access to dermestid beetles, so they use that system right up there, and all that is a boiler. So you put the head in that pot, put a propane tank on it, crank it up, and you cook the meat off. Some people put it outside, let nature take its course. That's the worst way you can do it. 90% of the time they're going to put it in this pot right here and cook it off. We're going to go throw it in the beetles right now, and then we're going to do a time-lapse video with another camera in the habitat so you can see the bugs eat the flesh off. So this is our setup with the beetles. And you can see I have a camera down there and a tripod, and it's on that little buck over there that we just put in. We had to add a light with green bulb in it, because the bugs don't like white light. And we're gonna start this on time lapse, and hopefully it works. If it doesn't, you'll never see this video because we won't do anything with it. We're out. So the bugs ate this thing off. The problem is the camera shut off after 12 hours and I didn't know it. So we only got 12 hours of time-lapse video, but it still came out alright. So what we're going to do now is put something else in here so we can pull that out so the bugs leave this skull and go to the fresh skull. So what we did here is we threw this bison in over here. It's a bison skull, small one. And what's going to happen is the bugs are going to come out of our little buck that's over here and go over to the bison, and then we'll pull it out and continue the process. So the next step is basically getting this out of the habitat without a ton of bugs on it. So we got the buck head out of the bugs. And what we're going to do now is go on to the next step, which is soak in soapy water. You have to soak it in soapy water in order to get rid of any grease that's on it. Now with the bugs, there's a lot of grease. With boiling them, there's not as much grease because the hot water takes the grease off. But it's extremely important if you're using bugs. Another thing I wanted to mention is the teeth on these can tend to come out. This one is actually young enough that you can see there's actually baby teeth being pushed out by the adult teeth. So they're going to fall out real easy. So when you're dumping the water, the soapy water, because you're going to want to change it like every day for, I don't know, there's no perfect amount of time that they need to soak. Just when they stop, you know, when the water stops looking dirty. So probably like 3, 4, or 5 days, you're going to want to change the water. You don't want to lose the teeth. So just be aware if you're dumping out in the woods or something that you don't lose the teeth. So what we're going to do now is soak this thing for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. So one thing I forgot to tell you was we're using Dawn dish soap. Don't get a knockoff. Dawn is the best degreaser. And we're going to soak this thing for like 4 days. And we'll change it at least once a day. Sometimes I do it twice a day depending on how busy I am. And that'll get rid of all the grease. So we just pulled this out of the soapy water. We ended up changing the water 6 times. The next step is we're going to put it into a peroxide, which is just 3% peroxide that you get like at Walmart. It's not really a chemical. There's all these chemicals you can get into whiten skulls, and what it does is it damages the skulls. With peroxide, it's just another cleaning agent. It has bubbles that take any of the flesh that you can't see that's really small on there, and it gets rid of it and cleans it. So it's another cleaning process. It's the final cleaning process. I'll show you the bottom side. I did have some teeth fall out. Like I said before, you can lose teeth. And what I did is I saved the teeth, and they're already in peroxide right now. I'm not going to put them back in there and have them fall out again. But you're going to want to keep track of teeth, some of your nose parts during this process. Just throw them in the peroxide if they fall out when you're doing the soapy water, and they'll be nice and clean. So this is the peroxide that you're going to actually soak the head in. Like I said, you can just get it at Walmart. What we're going to do now is we're going to wrap the horns in tin foil. Because if you get this on the horns, it's going to turn the horns white. Do not get the peroxide on the horns. It will turn white. So I'm going to show you how to wrap the horns now. one of the wrapping stages done. And what I did is I just got a waterproof tape and put it on there as close as I could to the skull at the base. And this is just in case it gets through the tin foil. So what we'll do now is tin foil. Alright, the wrapping step is done. Now what I'm going to do is cut a piece of paper towel real thin to wrap around the base of the horns where it first touches the skull. And because we're not going to put that actually down in the peroxide, so what we'll do is we'll put paper towel around that, and then we'll use capillary action to have the peroxide draw up to the base of the horns. You never want to submerge this in the peroxide. It will turn the horns white, guaranteed. So I'm going to cut some paper towels and wrap around the base, and then we'll go put this in the peroxide. This is the deer, almost completely prepped. What I was talking about with the paper towels, you see how they're wrapped around the base right there? And what I'm going to do is take another paper towel and go right down the middle of the head that goes down into the peroxide, and capillary action should bring it up so it stays wet with the peroxide. So we're going to go to the peroxide tubs and dunk her in. Okay, so we just got this in the peroxide. You can see it's foaming a little bit. And I got that paper towel over the top, and it's drawing the peroxide up. And what you're going to want to do is baste this just like a turkey, like twice a day. I don't know, for about a week. However long it takes to get to the desired whiteness that you want. And remember, if you get any peroxide on the horns, it's going to turn them white. So when you're handling them, handle on that tin foil. So we'll give this a week, and then we'll come back to it, and we'll take the tin foil off, and the final step will be at hand. So the next step in this is we're going to pull it out of the peroxide and remove the tin foil and the tape. One thing I forgot to mention, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, is you have to do it somewhere where it's dark, because sunlight will weaken the peroxide. That's why I have a flashlight on this. I'm in the basement. So you want to make sure you soak this somewhere where it's dark. So we got the tin foil off and the tape. Now I'm going to rinse it with some warm water, let it sit for like 5 minutes, drain that, and then I'm going to do another soapy solution with the Dawn, just like we did before we put it in the actual hydrogen peroxide. Alright, I just pulled this out of the soapy solution. I got it out here on the bar letting it dry, and you can see there's a bunch of teeth there I got to glue in. And I actually did the lower jaw too, so I can show you 2 ways of putting this together. One without the lower jaw and one with. We'll do a close-up of the teeth real quick. This is just a quick look at the teeth before I glue them in. And all the teeth that are missing were basically dead baby teeth that were falling out because this deer is so young. And you can see there's new adult teeth right there in the end coming in. They're just poking through. So we'll glue these in, take a look at it, and then we'll mount this thing up. So we just glued all these teeth in. and I made a mistake. The teeth that fell out were the new ones coming in. There were still the back teeth there. They still have to fall out, but the new ones come in were the ones that fell out. So we'll install this thing. Last but not least, you're going to have to mount it to the wall. We're using an antler anchor right there that we manufacture. Most of you are all done now. I'm going to add the lower jaw in case you wanted to see what it would look like with the lower jaw. But for most of you, that's it. But we will put the lower jaw on, give you a shot of that, and then we'll be done here. One last look before we put the lower jaw on. Came out real nice. We just finished putting the bottom jaw on this little buck. Mount her up to the anchor. Here is the final shot of the buck with the lower jaw. Hopefully this video gave you an easy step-by-step process to do your own European deer mount. Visit us at AntlerAnchors.com and we'll help you put it on the wall. Thanks for watching and subscribing to Antler Anchors YouTube. We're out of here.